And here we go. Internet, with my previous video, I talked about the 10 most controversial episodes of Survivor. Episodes that sparked the audience to react more than usual. Originally, I wanted to make a video about my least favorite episodes, basically what I would say are the worst, but then I realized most of them fit under the previous video's title better. But okay, here's the thing. Not all episodes that I dislike are controversial. Some of them I just think aren't well put together, or their content just kind of sucks, regardless of how much engagement they got from the fans. So here we are. I split the difference, consider these two videos as something akin to a top 20, and here we go. The top 10 worst episodes of Survivor. Actually, it's more like the top 19, although we can add in Brandon's meltdown episode from Caramoan to just make it a nice 20. My overall least favorite episode ever is that merge of Island of the Idols, and despite it, I wanted to include it in both videos. So consider it as the first episode on this list, even though I talked about it a bit more in the controversial video. That said, Brandon's meltdown and ejection on season 26, Caramoan, is also a terrible episode of the show for a myriad of reasons, least of which Brandon nearly gets physical and fights. The argument between him and Philip is ugly, and it doesn't fit in with almost any other episode in all of Survivor. I like to think that there's like a standard for drama on Survivor, and it doesn't usually go this low, and I appreciate that. But this episode took it to a new level. The producers had to manufacture Brandon being voted out at the challenge when, in fact, it was revealed after the season that he wasn't actually voted out. The vote was staged for the narrative, when in reality, he was already ejected from the game. The producers had already made the call to remove him. They just wanted to ham it up to save some face and make the story feel a bit more like Survivor. The players verbally voted, even Brandon voted, but none of it mattered. All in all, the episode just kind of sucks and feels like a massive speed bump to one of the worst pre-merges ever.
You are one pathetic individual.
You're pathetic.
You are pathetic.
Hey, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Shut my mouth.
I'm tired of you talking. You've been talking.
Don't walk this way. You'll probably talk to the aunt that's taking care of your kids that you left
Bring
in
my
Dock
kids
Street.
into this, I'll come over there and knock your head off.
Why don't we just cut to the chase? You're not going back to camp, no.
Thank you.
This is over. All right? You good with that?
I'm good with it.
I've also realized looking at my list that what I consider the worst episodes all happen to be ones that I watched live. And if I think about that a little more, I think watching bad episodes live leaves a stronger impression than on a binge. And when I looked at my list and realized the first one was from season 22, Redemption Island, it all began to make sense. Two of my least favorite episodes of all time that I would say are the worst are on this season, which is also tied for most in a single season. Episode 9, titled The Buddy System, and Episode 10, titled Rice Wars. A play on the term race wars. Cheeky, very cheeky, producers. Back to back, two of the worst episodes ever, where we see a double boot occur in the span of 42 minutes with Mike and David, followed by a whole episode dedicated to voting out Julie. Three obvious boots with nothing worthwhile to talk about outside of either how Boston Rob was able to completely suck all the air out of the tribe with his strategy, or, well, Philip Shepard. As Rob called it, the buddy system, where everyone basically held each other hostage and played some of the lamest gameplay ever. Basically watching people act like snitches when it was only ever in their best interest to work together to oust Rob, but instead we got a coagulation of the Orange Tribe being useless, ratting on each other, and rolling out the red carpet for Boston Rob to win the game. And I hope it doesn't come across like I have much of a problem with Boston Rob. I really don't. It's more so how this episode got me to lose all faith in the season, the first time I have ever lost faith in a season of Survivor. And then you just follow it up with a doozy of another terrible episode, Rice Wars, where not only are Zapatera, that purple tribe opposing Rob's tribe, not only are they all on the bottom, but then you get Philip arguing with Steve over the food intake, and race gets brought into it, and it's all just so ugly. We do get to hear more of Philip's side on the matter, for better and worse, which does have some intrigue. I won't deny the man commands your attention, but he's also such an unreliable narrator that it all feels off. It feels like the season had nothing going for it, so it spruced up the Philip drama because Who else here is worth a damn? As far as I'm concerned, none of this is worth a damn, and these episodes made me loathe the show for a hot minute.
Look, you guys aren't being reasonable. You should think about it logically. It's not a Zapatero decision. It's our rice. Unless you walk with that can, the first opportunity I have to take that can and hide it, I will.
So in other words, you'd be threatening my tribe with physically taking some?
You're threatening the tribe right now by saying, go ahead and let that that's on the ground spoil. I'm a very reasonable person to deal with. You don't want to deal with things reasonable?
Reasonable, you're a lunatic.
I know I am. That's the thing that you don't ever want to forget with me. Somebody of my color gets up in one of your faces, then you feel like I'm a lunatic. I make a rational argument that we want to take the dry rice.
You're bringing us to a black and white thing now?
You know what? You need to make the decisions you need to make, and I'll make the decisions I need to make.
Right on, brother.
Imano, if we have to. I remember I'm the chief of counterintelligence, Wing Chun Kung Fu expert here.
It's like watching divorce court.
You now call me crazy. You are crazy. Every time I make an argument, suddenly I'm crazy. That's got to be crazy. You don't know me. I've never been to jail. I've never been arrested. I've never been detained.
Philip somehow managed to make a war about white rice racial.
Philip is going to have to hang out in his cute little underwear from now on.
I hope my shorts come up tonight. But if they don't come up tonight, it's going to get real interesting around here. I just go off like that.
That's kind of scary.
That's right, it should be. You keep telling me I'm crazy.
Let's just keep calling it as I see it. We then get to season 24, One World, episode 6, titled Thanks for the Souvenir, said by the one Colton Cumbie. This episode is one of the worst for a few reasons. For how Colton and Alicia treat Christina, for how boring the strategy is, for how lopsided the swap tribes are that contribute to just so much dead air, and how it ends with Colton not getting voted out, but medically evacuated. Colton was the big bad bully villain of the season. He treated Christina horribly, so bad. He was an ass to just so many people, and while he probably doesn't get voted out this episode, unfortunately, it was obvious that he was never winning this season with his attitude. And yet, instead of a great downfall or a succulent blindside, we got him basically crying, whining, keeling over, and then getting pulled from the game. I'm not here to watch people get physically hurt and medically evacuated, least of all the biggest villains on the cast who are asking to get blindsided. Look, when it happens to Bruce on season 12 and he's constipated and has to go and can't take a big dump, at least the supporting cast around him were unintentionally hilarious and people I was rooting for. And Bruce wasn't really a big character or player. Certainly not a villain looking for a blindside. Colton leaving on a medevac, however, was a wet fart of an ending, surrounded by lame people propping him up, and to make it worse, he took his hidden idol with him just to screw over his closest allies, which, to be fair, was Alicia. It's just all lame ending to an already lame episode.
Honestly, Christina, you've been the season cockroach. If by some miraculous miracle you did make it to the merge, you're the first one to go.
Why don't you scoot over? It's really inconvenient for me to be like right on the edge where it's
I don't care because you're gonna be gone. I really don't care.
I think Alicia is genuinely not a good person.
I'm just so ready for Christina to be gone. You can quit or you can wait and go home in 2 days. Or you can jump in the fire and be medevac, whichever is more convenient for you.
You have 2 more days. You have 2 options. You have 3. You can enjoy your last 2 days. You can quit or you can jump in that fire, whichever is more convenient for you.
Game over. You cannot play this game. You suck at it. You're digging yourself in a bigger grave.
All you ever talk is lies. All you ever talk about is not lies. Okay. You have an alliance with the girls. I don't have a standing there. It's a numbers game.
I'm done, Christina. Done, Christina.
Well, it's
done
not
with
behind
you.
your back because you heard it.
Done, Christina. Done with you.
And I woke up and I just felt like, literally, it felt like my brain had like attached to my skull. Like I thought my brain was swollen. Christina just kind of stepped in and took on this motherly role and just basically like trying to, you know, massage out whatever was going on. And of course Christina's gonna do that because she's trying to save herself. She will literally do whatever she has to.
And Colton, that means if we have to take you out and take you to a hospital, you have to be out of the game. We have to pull you from the game.
You know what? Colton is a spoiled brat. He's going to keep the immunity idol for a souvenir, even though he knows he screwed me like the biggest.
I do believe that if there was a karma Colton got some karma right back at him.
Another lame episode in the books is The Merge of season 29, San Juan del Sur, titled $1 Million Decision. Similar to the One World episode, it didn't end with a tribal council and a vote, but instead just a player quitting the game. But it wasn't even a dynamic player who was playing hard or a big character, just a random person, Julie, who was the wife of John Wetland. John was voted out a few episodes prior, and Julie struggled to care about the show. See, this is why Redemption Island needs to exist on every season, and so at The Merge, she decided that she had enough and quit. The episode was building to a huge climactic moment between two major titans and their alliance, Jeremy and Josh. And then everything came to a sudden halt when Julie wanted out. She was also a pivotal vote for the numbers because of how close the margins were, and her quitting changed the dynamics quite dramatically for the next episode. I've said before that quits aren't the absolute worst thing ever from an editing and storytelling point of view. They can leave time to expand on other players. We don't have to go through the motions of a boring tribal council when sometimes it just aren't all that fun or engaging content. Getting an extra 10 or 15 minutes in an episode dedicated to the camp shenanigans and the people who are still surviving on the island is often worthwhile. But I also think context is important too, and the context for Julie's quit just meant that it couldn't have happened at a worse time in the story. Like a record player repeating itself, this felt like a scratch more than an encore.
I'm really lost. I'm feeling really low. I'm feeling lost and confused.
My head's kind of telling me to
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Don't do it yet.
She stole food and put it in her bag and didn't share with anybody. And it's obnoxious. It really is. But Julie goes home. Well, then that hurts us.
They need me because they want to get further based on using me. Hey, I'm not going to hate them for it. It's the way the game goes. But I see clearly what that is, and I can make a decision right now.
Josh is the only one in Josh's alliance that is playing the game. If you take him out, it's over.
It would make sense to go couples together and singles out. Blood versus water, that's what this game is about.
Looks like we're gonna be going on the couples train and voting Jeremy out tonight.
This is gonna suck, because like I really like Jeremy. But we gotta do this. We gotta do it.
I don't think she'll quit. She told me she wouldn't quit though.
I was doing this whole thing with John and being here with all of these people that are in love, are family members. It's that much more difficult on top of everything else that's happening.
So is part of this that you feel you're already out of the game? So you're prepared for people to say of Julie, it sounds like you're giving up because you think you're out.
Right.
So the fact that you think you're pretty much on the verge of being voted out and your man's not here.
I can't stay here because Missy says we need you.
It is quite possibly $1 million quit for someone else.
Yeah, it makes me feel awful.
18 days, your adventure is over. I'll go let the tribe know.
Okay, thank you.
Bad news is, if you were in an alliance with Julie, you just lost a member. Julie is quitting the game.
It's ridiculous. And it pisses me off when people quit as it is, you know what I mean? We're trying to make her comfortable and give her food, keep her warm at night. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, after the merge feast that we had, she dumped a bunch of trail mix in her bag and hid it from everybody, and we found it today.
I think even more so it's that she was just so scared of living up to the fact that, oh yeah, I am a selfish person. I don't think she could deal with it.
Yeah, Julie kind of messed it up. I wanted Josh out of the game. I feel like it bothered me more than everybody else. I'm upset that she left because she really messed up my plans.
Actually, you know what? The point about the record repeating itself has me jumping way ahead to another episode from a more recent season, Survivor 46. Episode 3, titled Wackadoodles Win. This episode follows a similar reasoning as the merge of San Juan del Sur, largely because it just doesn't move the needle and it feels like dead air. It's when Randon is medically evacuated and then Banu, who is supposed to get voted out later that night, is instead spared for like 48 hours. When this episode happened, I immediately knew we were in for a bad time. Because while Banu was a lot to witness, I took solace in knowing he was definitely getting voted out by the end of episode 3. You know, this episode. Sometimes big characters can only give you so much before they need to just settle down, have a cool down episode. And with Banu burning hot for 3 straight now, I just knew we were about to rewatch everything we just watched all over again in episode 4. The good news is that I enjoyed episode 4 more because Banu went Super Saiyan and literally turned on God by the end. I can appreciate how over the top he got, but episode 3 was just dead air to me. I'm really just not a fan of episodes that feel like wasted time, especially if the supporting cast isn't hitting its stride yet and the future isn't looking too bright. And let me tell you, the online Survivor fanbase was peaking with its doom and gloom at this time.
And I'm paranoid because those three, all three of them are in a tight alliance, and if we don't win the next immunity challenge, I'll be going home. I want to play the game and I'm hitting a wall all the time.
Banu is not playing is what Banu's doing wrong.
I don't know what to do. I need some help, Kenzie.
You also have to come up with some plan for people to be able to work with.
Sweet Kenzie, how she portrays herself, she's like this mermaid dragon. So if you have a plan, then let me know and then we can work on it. Mermaid dragon. Remember that.
Charlie does it for Singa! Singa pulls it out! Sending Yanu back to tribal council.
The thing that's been concerning me has been this worsening pain and tenderness in your neck. This could be a bulging disc in your neck. That's, I'm afraid, a very different beast.
And so, Randon, for those reasons, out of just being very cautious about your health, we are pulling you from the game.
This is incredible.
I don't want to see you like this.
I'm sorry.
I know I'm interrupting. I know you got a lot going on, but I've got news that's going to impact tonight. Random was pulled from the game, which means one person's loss is another person's gain. No tribal council tonight.
My prayer's been answered. I'm not going home tonight. Here I am, saying my goodbyes, ready to go. And look what happened, miracle! I never came to Survivor to win $1 million. I wanted to win 1,000,000 hearts. And guess what? I'm still in the game, baby. This is the first time I'm actually like smiling and laughing.
All right, I've got 4 episodes left, and this next one just annoys me. It's one of the worst edited episodes of all time, and it's episode 11 of season 34, Game Changers, titled Parting is Such Sweet Sorrow. It's another one of those 40-minute double boot episodes where 2 tribal councils happen, so roughly 3 days on the island is condensed into like 13 minutes per day. And that's with 2 challenges and 2 tribals as well. So basically the strategy around Michaela getting voted out at that final 7 is so complicated because you have an all-star cast that are playing hard. The relationships and advantages are muddying the already confusing dynamic, and then you get like 5 minutes of airtime to explain what is going on. It's super confusing. I've had to explain this round of gameplay half a dozen times on my channel because the episode leaves a lot to be desired. The problem with these double boot episodes, especially on all-star seasons, is that they often fail to explain why players are doing what they're doing. Why are these relationships just changing on a dime? I get that they are, I'm being told they are, but why? It's all about the telling us instead of the showing us, and even then, they barely tell us anyway because there's hardly any time. And they don't have the time because, as I've said, they get like 5 minutes to boil down 7 to 8 people's perspectives into a semi-comprehensible story. It's just the worst version of how an episode can be edited, where the robotic gameplay is shallow and the relationships all feel paper thin. We do get most of the episode with Suri explaining how she can use Sarah's advantage to her advantage, which is cool, but that's about it. And then the outcome all falls apart due to the fine print, and so Michaela is voted out. 10 out of 10 fans, myself included, who watched this episode live could not explain exactly what the hell just happened because so much is left out because there just wasn't any time to explain it. And that, everyone, is just one of the many reasons I am not a big fan of this season.
So I'm gonna give Suri the advantage of steal a vote to hold on to. This way, if this doesn't scream loyal, I don't know what does.
I'm from the old school. If you got it, play it. So I'm going to use it, believe that. She gonna give me the advantage because that's how much she believes in Ty. So I would like to use this advantage. So I am going to steal Sarah's vote.
Well, actually, that's my advantage.
This is non-transferable and cannot be stolen from you.
Yeah, Suri, the key word in there is non-transferable.
Can I have that?
So what are you feeling right now?
I feel that Sarah, what I told you, your vote.
No, back. Back up.
What the hell for?
Back
I'm not gonna
up.
back anything.
Back up.
You know what, Jeff? I'm going to use my advantage.
All right, so whose vote are you going to steal?
I'm going to take ties.
14th person voted out, the 7th member of our jury. Michaela, need to bring me a torch?
I don't see how that made sense, Sarah, but do you, boo?
I am also not a big fan of the finale of season 35, Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers. Titled $1 Million Nights, is like anyone shocked to see this episode in my top 10? Is this your first video on my channel? Subscribers, people watching this video, I have to say it, I'm gonna go on a mini rant. I loathe when the producers take a twist and attempt to blindside everyone at the last second. Mind you, the fire-making Final Four twist can stand on its own if need be. I don't think that it's as good as what we had before, but on its own, it works all the same. It does the job. But it is such a massive change to the endgame format, and things like that need to be communicated to the cast in order for the season to have some semblance of integrity when all is said and done. Look, I'm a stickler for the integrity of the game as long as the game is fair, the rules are laid out ahead of time, and the system itself is airtight. Anything that happens after that is all gravy. A foolproof version of everything that I just talked about is the backbone of the show, of any game, as it gives the show a sense of weight to any event that happens within it. It feels like it matters, like there's something on the line, like there's actually stakes, as if it counts. If the game sucks, if the rules are bad, if the system that holds the mechanisms falls apart under scrutiny, consider me checked the F out. And when Survivor mostly holds up for 34 seasons, to see this rug pull then happen, this deus ex machina of a twist descend from the heavens as a blindside to the players, I can't help but get that little tingling feeling that's just like, disliking what comes next, regardless of the outcome. As Jervis once said, this isn't Big Brother. We do things different here. And like Loki, I love Big Brother, but let's be honest. And I am passionate about this point because it is a fundamental tenet of any game. And without that, I might as well just watch any other show.
And as I mentioned last night at Tribal, there is a twist. The winner of today's challenge also receives the final secret advantage of the game. Ben places another letter. Ben has 4 letters left. If he's right, this would secure Ben a spot in the final tribal council.
Jeffrey?
Ben thinks he has it. No, something is not right. And he cannot do it again. Ben cannot believe it. Chrissy has it. Chrissy's back. Chrissy wins her 4th individual immunity challenge.
I am in the final 3 and tied the record for a woman for the most individual immunity wins in a season.
I do feel for him as a person.
You could be a millionaire, Chrissy.
First of all, you could be a millionaire and Devin could be a millionaire.
True.
Right?
I'd love to sit next to you.
Yeah.
And I respect if you don't want to sit next to me.
Okay. I will go into Tribal tonight and hear you out.
Ben needs to go.
All right, you.
But before I can think much further about that, I need to get away privately to read my secret advantage. Tonight, you are in charge and will cast the only vote. You will choose one person to sit.
This is a huge twist in the game, and it means that the door is open for Ben to potentially come to the final 3. Not good.
Wow.
If I pick you to sit next to me, then Ryan has to make fire with Ben. If I pick Ryan, then you will need to make fire.
So it's up to me.
How fun is this twist going to be on a scale of 1 to 10, Chrissy?
0.
What is it?
Devin and Ben are gonna have a fire making.
Why?
Oh my gosh. Devin's going to have to make fire against Ben, and Chrissy says that you're going with me to the final 3. I am floored.
Speaking of twists and being outraged and just everything else, the final 2 worst episodes come from the same season, and that is Survivor 41. Episode 3, titled My $1 Million Mistake, and then episode 6, titled Ready to Play Like a Lion. Now, as far as episode 3 goes, it has the same pitfalls as the Game Changers episode, only it is with a newbie cast, and also manages to have like thrice as much advantage paper reading as what Suri had to parse through with the vote steal. This was the episode that Broccoli Brad was voted out, but not before he read like an encyclopedia's worth of rules along the way. This episode epitomizes the producers overcooking, adding mechanical bloat for the sake of it. Survivor works perfectly fine with like maybe one extra wrinkle, but we had an idol search, a beware advantage reading, an island journey visit with 2 more parchment readings on the other tribes too, and then the rules are read out at the island to explain this little game the players had to play, and then they are reiterated in confessionals to dumb it down for the audience who are only half paying attention and on their phones. It's giving Big Brother. Players also had to then say secret code phrases to unlock their idol at the challenge, which on the surface is actually kind of funny, but it also reinforced what felt like the entire episode was being scripted and the entertainment was entirely on rails. And by that I mean it was decided ahead of time by the producers. Like, think about it. It's funny when people like Shane say ridiculous stuff like he's using a rock as a BlackBerry, but it's just a little bit less funny when the producers are telling him he has to say that. The players themselves feel irrelevant. Too many rules, too much parchment reading, and to top it off, the guy who is most involved with all of it gets voted out. Now that did not feel scripted, but the episode did give me a sense that the producers didn't trust their cast to put on a show. So instead they just dangled toys in front of them ad nauseum to create something that could be exciting. More than anything, it just felt like the show was having an identity crisis, that Survivor had lost the plot, and I'm just thankful each subsequent season has moved a bit further from what we got with this episode.
Beware advantage. If you take this, it's yours, and you must do what it says. Otherwise, leave it. Congratulations, you have found an advantage. But it comes with a great risk. Tonight, a boat will arrive. You must sneak out of camp and get on the boat.
If you take it, it's yours, and you must do what it says. Otherwise, leave it. Tonight, a boat will arrive. You must sneak out of camp and get on the boat. Failure to get on the boat will result in the loss of your boat. The Beware advantage adds a whole new level, too, in this game. Everything comes at a cost.
Congratulations, you have found an advantage, but it comes with great risk. Tonight, a boat will arrive. You must sneak out of camp and get on the boat. Your failure to get on this boat will result in the loss of your vote at the next tribal council.
There's no option. I'm getting on this boat because I cannot lose my vote.
But I do have one advantage. I have an extra vote. I didn't come here for just one advantage. I came here for them all. I'm working so damn hard. If it's not out there.
Beware advantage. Congratulations, you have found a 3-way shared immunity idol. Each tribe each has one, but in order for your idol to have power, the other 2 idols must also be found. So once all 3 phrases have been said at the same immunity challenge, then all 3 idols have power.
I truly believe that butterflies are just dead relatives saying hi.
I have found a 3-way shared immunity idol.
I don't know what any of this means. Clandestine meeting with members of the opposition. It doesn't get any better than this. You must choose between 2 advantages. If all players choose steal a vote, all players lose their next vote. But if there is a split decision, all players who choose TARP receive nothing.
But when you split the vote, if you can do 1 TARP and 2 steal-a votes, then you both get steal-a votes and she doesn't get a TARP.
You may discuss as a group, but you will make your decision in private.
I just don't trust Tiffany. I think she did steal a vote and I can't afford to lose my vote. So it's gonna be a TARP for me.
This advantage allows you to steal a vote from another player at tribal council.
That means I'm losing my vote at every tribal council.
The fact is, I'm just turning into a little bit of a twig, and it's kind of a fuzzy top. I feel like a broccoli. So broccoli is grows little bunches on small trees. So I feel like a little broccoli tree, I guess.
Wow. You made a risky decision and it worked. You earned an extra vote. The last time you can use this is when there are 6 players left in the game. I'm pissed.
That's true.
And then we finally have episode 6 of Survivor 41, which is the Hourglass episode where not only did the rules stop mattering, but Jeff was now outright lying to the players about what they were. Winning immunity? Not today, Danny boy. This is the new era, where the points are made up and the results don't matter. And the episode ended on a cliffhanger where nobody was voted out, and the only question left hanging was how much more obvious could it be what Erica was going to do? Should she win immunity for doing nothing or leave herself exposed to getting voted out? Again, here we go, same problem as episode 3. The producers are creating suspense instead of letting the players handle it themselves. It's just constant overcooking and burning the main course when it was mostly perfectly medium rare for the past 20 years. And unfortunately, this episode has still had some residual effects with the seasons after it. The merge of Survivor gets so mangled here, and it's painful to see because the merge is supposed to be dramatic, climactic, and a collision course after the pre-merge. But this was more busted than the hourglass was about to be.
I was sitting in my little exile home, and I see this boat pull up. It looks like Jeff is on the boat.
So you kept the fire going all night?
Yes. Working on the fire is what kept me sane.
The result was you were sent here alone. This is an hourglass. The black sand at the bottom of this hourglass represents the time that has already passed. If you want, you can go back in time and change history. You have the power to reverse the outcome of yesterday's merge challenge. If you want to make history by changing history, smash the hourglass. It's obviously a big strategic decision. I'm going to leave you with it.
Oh my God. People are going to talk about this one for a long time. And it's a lot of pressure.
I bust my ass on that challenge. To learn that don't matter anymore is really tough for me to process. We drew rocks, we competed, and there was a winner, there was a loser, and the prize was what?
Feast and immunity.
Okay, I'm just asking.
And those are what I consider the top 10 worst episodes in Survivor. But let me just say, I think most episodes of Survivor are quite good. Many are great. These ones just happen to be at the bottom. Something's got to be at the bottom. In spite of all my whinging, I will still often watch Survivor over most other shows, and while I do consider these bottom of the barrel, I like to look at them more as like lessons to be learned than anything else. Either way, let me know what you think about my picks and which episodes you would say are the worst of the worst. A big thank you to my patrons for all of your support, for not being the worst. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to activate your idol by playing patty cake with Jeff on your way out, and I will see you in the next one. Once I reread all these rules to just better understand how to even play Survivor. Jeff, can I get like a reference card that I can just like carry with me at all times?
Congratulations, you have earned the bank your vote
Ned will then
advantage.
select one tribe member whose vote
This vote will count like any other at that
this
tribal
guy
council.
gives you the power to decide not to vote, but instead reach into a bag and draw for
Once
a 1 in
all
6
three
shot.
phrases have been said at the same immunity challenge, then all three
There's a lot
idols
of things
have
going on
power.
right now that I can't even keep it all straight.
It's a new advantage, the beware advantage. This advantage comes with risk. Oh, there's a game within the game just for
I'm
you.
just going to say this is probably going to be too complicated. I have to go in half an hour.
Sandy doesn't have a vote. Why does Sandy not have a vote? Because his idol doesn't work yet, remember?
So I've changed the value of 1 wood to now be 1 wood. So to trade 1 wood for a wood, you must have a wood. What would you like to do?
I'll use wood.
Wood?
Doesn't have a vote until his idol works.
You have earned the inheritance advantage.
You're difficult to be around.